It's the things that you do, and it's a smile on your face. And as time goes by, I know I'm in a better place. I'm in a better place.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my podcast, Buying and Selling with Bri. I am Labrita and I am a realtor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Tonight, my special guest, we're going to do things a little bit different. I'm going to start off a little bit talking about real estate, but then my guest tonight is going to be talking about her Airbnbs. Right now, the way that things are, realtors, everybody else is a good way to have an extra stream of income. So last week when I did my 30-minute podcast, I had a lot of questions that was inboxed to me, and tonight I'm just going to go over the questions and answer the questions. One of the questions that I had was, can you switch jobs? During the process, is it good to switch a job? If you switch jobs, please make sure that it's in the same field. So what I mean by that is, if you are a nurse and you're working at one hospital and you go to another hospital and you are a nurse, that is the same field. But if you were tired of being in the medical field and you went from a nurse to being a restaurant manager or something like that, that is two totally different fields. And it will be up to the lender to determine how long that they want you on the job before you can apply for a loan. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's a year. That is questions that, should be addressed by the lender. The other question that I had was, it was talking about interest rates. Interest rates they're going up. And as of today, and according to CNN and Freddie Mac, the interest rates today are 5.1. That is so much different. I think last year or 2 years ago, it was 2.97. But now it is 5.1. And when your interest rate goes up, it decreases your buying power. So that's why it's good at this time to work on your credit. The stronger the credit that you have, when the interest rate is high, and if your income, you can get approved for more. But the higher the interest rate, and if your credit score is good, the less buying power you have. And with that being said, today's market, houses are well over, 300,000. There are, of course, multiple offers. People are bypassing the appraisal. Some people are bypassing the inspection, and some people are even paying, seller title, and some people are even, not paying nothing for the option period. That's how tight and how it is out there. So with the interest rate going up like that, and please start looking at your credit. Please start saving. And another question that I had was about the credit bureaus. It is 3 credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So when they inboxed me, they asked me why was my scores different. Of course, I'm not a credit professional, but one of the reasons that I do know is because every creditor does not report to every bureau. Most of the creditors do report to Experian. That's why your credit may be your score, may be a little bit lower than it is for Equifax and TransUnion, because it has more creditors on there. And TransUnion, Equifax, they have to pay for that. Sometimes you will see even a different amount. You might owe JCPenney's $200, and then on TransUnion it might be $210, and then on Equifax it might be $215. So that's why you need to pull your credit report, look at your credit report, and to make sure that everything is good. It's just The credit bureaus now, they are it's that they're just overwhelmed with stuff, just like we are overwhelmed as realtors and buyers trying to make sure that everything gets done. The credit bureau, they're moving slower now than what they used to because of the pandemic and because people are still working from home. So as people slowly but surely come back in the office, I believe that your disputes will probably be tend to a little bit quicker. The other question that I had was about gift funds. If your parents or in-laws or cousins or somebody are giving you gift funds, the lender will have to verify where that money comes from. So if a cousin is giving you $2,000 or whatever, the lender will need that bank statement. They'll need that bank statement so they can see that those funds was already in there in that account. So it's no problem with giving the gift funds. It's just that please be mindful that that the lender will ask for verification. He will need their name. He will need a copy of their bank statements and stuff. So that's one thing that a lot of people don't like to produce that evidence when they give a gift, but that is one of the requirements when you're given a gift fund. Another question that I had was the down payment. Everybody's down payment, the normal amount for down payment is 3.5%. Depending on your lender, every lender has different rules, qualifications, depending on the lender, depending on your credit, depending on your income. Your down payment may be 5%, or you might want to put down, but the norm for down payment is 3.5%. Sometimes you will see 3, depending on the person may have an 800 credit score, or again, everything as far as down payment. The normal amount for down payment is 3.5%. So, but sometimes it can be 4, it can be 5, depending on your credit criteria. How much is needed for down payment? Some people, sometimes people want to put 5% down. Sometimes people want to put, $10,000 down. Sometimes people are putting more money down to lower the price of their buying power. So, like I said, everything that you do as far as your down payment, as far as your interest rate, make sure that you talk to your lender about that. Another question that I had was a lease. When should you start looking for a house if you are in a lease? For me, for my clients, if you are in a lease and you're wanting a new build, you need to give yourself 6 to 8 months. It is taking that long to build a house, depending on the builder. And depending on the supplies, it could take longer than 8 months. So I would say 8 months into your lease, if you're looking for a new build, we'll go out and we'll look for a new build and that new construction. So that's how we do. If you're in a lease and you can't afford a new build and you're looking for a pre-existing home, I say 3 to 4 months, and we can go out and we can start looking. But also be mindful too, that is just the requirement, or that is just a suggestion, that I give you as a buyer. But please remember to check with your leasing office for your rules and the guidelines, or how much notice you have to give them for termination. Remember, you have to have probably a reletting fee or a termination fee. So before, I can't answer all those questions as a realtor. Those are questions that you would have to ask the leasing office. How much notice can you have? And another thing, if you are in a lease and if it does take longer to build your house, you have to ask them, can you go month to month, or do you have to move? Some people are having to move and some people are staying month to month, but their rent went up. Quite a bit, but they didn't have any choice because their house was not ready. Another question that I had was, when you get an offer accepted, on a house, how much is the earnest money? The earnest money is 1% of the offer price. But now people are putting more amount in. So if you put in a $250,000 house, normally it's $2,500, but clients now and customers now are putting in $5,000. Some of even went up to even $10,000. Not on the 250 house, but some people are giving $10,000. Some people are giving the option fees of $250. It all depends on what you want to do as the buyer, and then it all depends on what your lender says you can do as the buyer. So depending on the instructions or what you have to do for the lender, you can say, hey, can I put this much down for earnest money, or can I bypass the appraisal? Do you want to do that? Please address all those issues, or you and my client and I can get on the phone together and we can speak to the lender about, what you can do and what you can't do. And when you are putting in an offer, you got to be mindful that it's just not the earnest money that you have to pay. The earnest money will be payable, upon the acceptance of that offer. You still have 3 days, but you would need to get that money in as soon as possible. And after that, you will have to get an inspection on the property within, the option period. So it's still the money's involved even after you get your inspection done. One more thing that I have is people are talking about the inspections on a home and stuff like that. I'm not going to really get into that because that is something that I would need to have a professional to come up here. But I never recommend to my clients to bypass an inspection. But if you are wanting to have an inspection done, you can get an inspection done. But if you don't want to have an inspection, I will get something in writing from you. So that way my brokerage is covered and that I am covered, just in case. So those are the questions that was addressed to me last week, because I do have a show on the third Mondays of each month, but it's only 30 minutes. So if these people are listening, these are the questions that was addressed to me. Tonight, my guest she's Airbnb. She's very young. She has 6 Airbnbs, and she's been doing this for a little over a year. Her name is Jada Elias, and she is also one of my mentees, and she is also a realtor. I'm bringing her on because this is another way, with the market being like it is, this is another stream of income from her. And all of us now that are realtors, we need to, learn how to do, multiple streams of income. So she's going to come up, and we're going to, talk to her about, how she started her business. So Jada, if you are here, hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Welcome, and thank you so much for agreeing to come on my podcast tonight. How's the little one back there?
Good. Yes,
You doing good?
Like, okay, Mama, come get me.
I know, girl. So I want you to introduce yourself and just tell them about what you do. I do have a few questions that I would like to ask you, but how long have you been in the business?
Okay, so as far as real estate, or as far as me doing corporate Airbnb?
Both of them, it's okay.
Okay, so I've been in just industry of real estate general since I was 21. I got my first job as a leasing agent, and I was a leasing agent all the way up into about 2020, before I had my daughter. Whenever I found that I was pregnant in February 2020, I promised myself that I would no longer return back to a 9-to-5. I would do everything in my power in order to stay home with her, because at that time, that was when COVID first hit. It was crazy. So I was like, So really motivated me and really pushed me to pursue my dreams and what I always wanted to do. So at the time, also still in college, and I was also taking my real estate courses, but I really wasn't full-fledged. I was really focused on working to save up my money and to build up also my business credit at the same time. While I was an agent, I met a lady, and she did corporate leasing, and she was the first American woman that I've ever in my life met during that time. That was from 21 to 25 that I've ever met that actually did it and was very successful. So she kind of put me underneath her wing, and she taught me a few things. But me, as I did my own research on YouTube, and also me being back in an agent, I was able actually to process these applications. So I actually studied the applications. I studied what they were looking for, the different trade lines, the business information. I every single thing, and if I had questions, I would reach out to her, and then also I would go on YouTube. So I always was a learner. I never was just like, okay, this is all I need to do. No, I always learned, because that's where you take your steps to be successful. So come 2020, I pretty much was on maternity leave at that time, and I obtained my real estate license in June of 2021, but I got my first Airbnb in January. And I got my first Airbnb. It was hard at first, because I had to rip and run with the newborn baby. I just had my baby. Rip and run with her to get decoration, make it cute, make it fancy. But then I was like, okay, I got everything. I'm good. Okay, let's go ahead and do the second, then the third, then the fourth, then the fifth. So with me, I'm always about, I can always do more. I'm never going to settle for doing less. I have potential to do so. So
did you... you all, Jada and I met in at Purvis Real Estate School. We was in class, and she was sitting over there, and I was sitting on the other side. And then when it was break time, I went over there to talk, and I gave her my card, and that's how we met. So let me ask you something. When you first started out in this business, did you create an LLC, or did your first one? Did you put it in your name?
So I was already establishing business credit since 2019. That's when I first met the lady, and she told me what to do step by step. And my very first one, it was actually in my name, because I didn't get the approval, and I wasn't ready yet. My business credit wasn't as established as it needed to be in order to get approved for corporate leasing. So on apartments.com, and during this time, it wasn't as crazy. The pricing wasn't as crazy.
It was affordable.
Yes, very, very affordable. So my very first one, which I still have, is a condo. And I pretty much approached the owner, because it was owner. It was like for rent by owner. So I was like, this is beautiful. I can go ahead and pitch my little pitch to him. So talk to him, kind of butter him up a little bit, and let him know who I was, introduce myself, and just kind of let him know, hey, what are your expectations as a
right.
What do you expect out of me? And his main priority was me being clean. I was like, okay, there we go. I pitched it as, okay, well, I would like to run a business out of this unit. I said it will always be maintained. It will always be cleaned. It will be thoroughly cleaned. And I will always give you updates and send you pictures as well of the unit. You can always come in whenever you want to as well with a notice. And he was already sold from there. But if he would have told me no, I would have pitched okay, what if I give you a percentage of or what if I pay more monthly, because I only pay $875 a month over there. And I gross $2,000. So sometimes in the summertime more. So I take home a lot, so
let me ask you something. For that one condo that you're talking about, when you said you take home the $2,000, is that after, when you finish with all your expenses, what do you kind of net? Just a roundabout number. What do you kind of net? Because you still have to pay for gas. You still got to pay for the waters and utilities. So what do you kind of net? Just a little bit, just a rough estimate for that particular condo. For that condo you was talking about.
About $1,500.
Okay.
About $1,500, because when I say gross, that's with the bills and stuff. That's with the main rent being paid. The gross is going to be what I make after the rent. So I already paid with the rent with $875, and then I'll just pay separately electricity bill, which is around, the highest is about $150, and then I don't pay gas, so I only pay $150 plus another $50 for Wi-Fi, which is $200. And then my cleaners is an average of like 300 to 350.
So let me ask you something about that. So when you charge the people for the Airbnb, do you try to include the cleaning fees in the rent?
Yes.
Or and the utilities a little bit, or how do you work that out as far as what you charge?
So whenever you set up your first unit or whatever Airbnb you decide to go with, even if you're doing it off of the Airbnb platform, you always incorporate the cleaning fee. So whenever you book an Airbnb, you will see a breakdown of fees, and you will see occupancy and taxes, and you will see a cleaning fee. So that's what I will charge my guests. I never pay out of pocket for cleaning fee. And I always charge a little bit more because things happen. The wash and dryer might break down. You might have to pay your cleaners a little bit more extra money for cost of them going to run and get you detergent or a softener, whatever the case. But I charge a 1-bedroom. My cleaning fee is about $75, and my cleaners charge me they invoice me $65. So I get a $10 profit in between if everything goes well.
Okay, so with when your people come to clean, do they do a basic cleaning, or do they do sterilizing, or what do they do? Because some people do a basic cleaning for that price is a basic cleaning, but if you need them to do extra, do they charge you extra, or you just have a basic? Or is that for everything what you want them to do?
So we do a standard clean and we do a deep clean. So most of the time it's a standard clean, which I have an entire checklist for my cleaners. It's actually posted behind my cleaning door. So it's mopping, it's sweeping, it's dusting, because if you are maintaining these units, then you constantly go in there and do a deep clean once a month. But I am really big and I'm very strict on how they clean my units. I like them to vacuum each and every time, mop, sweep. I mean, to me it's a deep clean, but to others, some hosts don't really care about washing things every time. Like we have mattress pads, so I need those mattress pads to be washed every time. Pillows, covers, everything, comforters, blankets, everything is washed every time. So it kind of is like a deep clean, kind of sort of way.
So let me ask you something. As far as like when you were saying washing, do you provide the washer and dryer in there, or does it come with the apartment, or how does that work?
So I always like a washer and dryer inside for amenity for my guests to utilize. There's only one unit that doesn't have a washer and dryer, which is in my Dallas location, but it does have a laundromat on site. But typically, if it doesn't have the connections, or if it does have connections, no washer and dryer included, I'll go ahead.
Okay. And also too, how do you I'm sorry, we got a question. Is how long does it take you to do your build your business credit, and what are some of the places that you went to do your business credit?
So if you have fun to build it, this is what I know now because I went through the process. If you have the capital and the money to invest into yourself, into your business, it should take you roughly around 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
And if you don't have money like that, like me starting out, I was very scared and a little bit of antsy about doing it. So I took my time. It took me like 1.5 years to do it, honestly. But if you do it the correct way, which is making sure your business is structured the correct way. I didn't do that at the very beginning. I had to go back and do steps. But in order to structure your business, that's the number one thing. You want to file an LLC. And then before you do that, though, you need to set up a business number. Get a business phone number and get a business address.
And a business checking account as well?
Yes. These are the most important things before you build your credit. Your business have to be established. Business phone number, you can do Google Voice for free. Starting out is okay. It's free. We like free things. Business address is extremely important because this address will carry on with your business for the entire time. So whenever you go apply for business credit cards or your Net 30 accounts, whenever you're trying to establish business credit, they're going to always reference back to this business address at the very beginning that you have already established. If you use a home address or you use a different address, it's not going to tie in. It's going to be hard for them, like your Duns and Bradstreet number. They won't be able to track these items or track the business or properly set it up to your business account because you have different addresses. And so,
sometimes you can go to UPS and get a box as well.
Physical addresses are better. So You can do a physical address or you can do a virtual address. But a PO box, I wouldn't recommend that. I will always recommend doing a physical. If you're in Dallas, even if you're not in Dallas, I do physicaladdress.com. It's $10 a month. And it's an actual address, and it comes with a suite number as well. So you look more.
Yes, with the UPS one, it comes with a suite number. It's not a PO box.
Oh, okay,
It comes with a suite number. So, like some of the creditors that you have, being that you are in the Airbnb business, did you ever apply like with Uline and some of those small companies like that, or Home Depot, Lowe's, and other, companies, creditors like that?
Yes, I've done Quill. I do Uline. I have done Grangers as well. Costco business as well.
Yes.
Amazon business. But Quill is my ultimate favorite. Uline, I too much don't like. I purchased with them just to establish my business credit.
Yes. Yeah.
I really don't use Uline because they're pricey. They don't really offer free shipping like that. Quill is my favorite bulk wise. Love Quill.
Okay. So when you established your LLC, what process did you go through? Did you go through the state of Texas, or did you have someone to do it, or did you do LegalZoom? How did you do your LLC?
I went through LegalZoom, or was it File? I thought I had it in here. I don't. I believe I went through LegalZoom. I have to double check. I'll get back with y'all. But I actually just paid a company because I was like, I want it done the correct way. I don't have time to be playing.
Right.
Because I don't want to mess it up. So I definitely did LegalZoom. I paid for someone, and they sent me all these beautiful documents in a beautiful binder. Loved it.
Now, when you did your business credit, did you use your personal credit, or did you use your business credit? How did your first business credit line, did they use your business credit, or did they just give you the credit using your business name?
So after you establish your Net 30 accounts and everything, I use my business credit card. I actually used the business credit card that was linked up with my business account. So I went with Bank of America, and they actually gave me a business credit card.
Okay, so like Home Depot and Lowe's and Granger, did you have to use your Social Security number with any one of those?
I haven't done Home Depot or anything like that. So I actually did Costco, and I did the PG because I was getting started with them, and they require for me to use my own security number as well as my EIN number. I have to use both whenever you.
Okay. Someone just texted me and they asked me, when you have Airbnbs, do they consider y'all having hotel? Is there hotel fees with that, or how do you do that? Because I know I did hear on the news, but people, they should be charging y'all hotel fees and stuff like that, or the hotel prices. Do they do that, or have they started that, or that was just something they was talking about?
I heard that as well when I was teaching classes, and someone else brought that to my attention and saying that Dallas was actually considered that. But I have not heard about it, and I'm not going to look into something that haven't been brought to my attention. Listen, I'm going to do it the legal way. I'm under housing, and the office that I'm with, it's all about establishing businesses, and business relationships are super important, always being honest. So,
yes.
I don't do anything underneath my name. I only have one unit underneath my own personal name. And I was waiting. So if I do have to pay taxes, then I will pay taxes. I'm okay with that. But I'm all about doing everything the correct way. So, but as of now, no, Airbnb has not notified us that we have to do anything as far as paying additional taxes.
So when you say that that individual in your unit, messed up your unit, and you did it the way that you did it, but if you had registered them under the Airbnb, you was talking about insurance. What type of insurance are you talking about?
So Airbnb has a coverage, like if a guest messes up your units or damage anything in your actual unit, you take pictures, and they pretty much will cover those damages or up to a certain amount. I haven't actually filed a claim. Today will be my first time filing a claim.
Okay.
But
so when you file that claim, is that insurance that you have to purchase from them?
Nope, it comes with you being a host.
It comes with you being a host. So,
yep. So
okay.
I'm pretty sure, like with their takeout, their payment takeout, then that's part of it. But we don't pay additional on top of them just taking out their cut, and their cut isn't that bad either.
Okay, so how do you, if someone's listening today and they're starting like me, or even though you got 5 going on 6 units, if you're starting out trying to get into the Airbnb, how do you go search for it, or how do you know the area that where to go, or how do you know if I want to do Arlington, do I have to see what Arlington rules are for Airbnb, or what do you do?
I just go after it. I feel like a lot of people think too much on stuff and think too much of what do I do, when do I do it, how do I do it. I think it's more so of doing your research. That's what I do. When I look at locations, I don't overthink stuff. I just go on the Airbnb platform and I just type in. First and foremost, in the DFW Metroplex, what cities have what. Like yes. At Urban is right there by the airport. I know that there's a mosque over there. I know that it's a theater center over there for concerts and stuff. If you're in downtown Dallas, all the little areas that it is. If you're in Arlington, each city has different things. So what you want to do is locate the best city and go ahead and go on the Airbnb app and type in that city. Like, for example, maybe Irving, Texas. So you'll type in Irving, Texas. Okay. And what you want to do is you want to always, like, whenever I was doing I was being a leasing agent, we ran our comps. So what we do is we will call the areas, the properties around that area, and we would get their pricing and their comparison as far as their specials and their floor plan pricing. Everything will be in order for our pricing to adjust to theirs because they're our competition. Okay. Is you go through the app, and if you're interested, like, because these apartments, y'all, are high. Everything. Yeah, they are. It's so
just like everything is over $1,800 for a 1-bedroom, and it's just expensive, and it's getting higher because the reason why it's getting higher because people can't afford to purchase a house. They don't. Most of the time, it's the down payment, or they didn't qualify because the average house now is well over $350,000. Yeah. And this was the same house. It was probably $250,000 2 years ago when they could afford it, and now that house is $350,000, the same floor plan. But being that there's a shortage of supplies, there's a shortage of workers, so the builder is adding the cost, to the consumer. Mm-hmm. And so as far as you, like do you decorate each one of your units different, or do you go different places to get your furniture, or how do you do that?
So I'm gonna go back to what I was saying about choosing the right unit, because this is very, very important, being that everything is high, because you're building your business credit and taking that hard-earned time and money to invest into yourself. Mm-hmm. It's important to invest into the right thing. So at the very beginning, your first unit, even your second one, I would not jump and go get a house or get a 2 or 3 bedroom, because the more money that you put into it, you have to understand it's going to take time for you to get that money back, because you have to pay back that credit card. You have to pay back whatever that you put into it. So start off small. You don't have to go to the biggest thing at the very beginning. Understand and learn the business and actually do your research. Like I said, if you're looking at Irving, Texas, if you want to, I say do a studio or a 1-bedroom at the very beginning. Okay. It's on the platform. You'll go up and you look. Okay, compare always 1-bedrooms. Okay, look at this 1-bedroom. See how it's decorated. See their pricing. See their availability. If they're getting booked. If you see too many hosts not getting booked in a certain area, do a different area, because that means you're off.
Okay, so when you go to the Airbnb site, it'll tell you how many bookings they had in their place and stuff like that.
So what you do, once you click on a listing, you have to go to their calendar. And once if it's blocked out, you see it blocked out. If you see it open, you will see it open. And that means that their pretty much availability is open. So it's really important to look at those things, not just go out here and just go get a corporate lease or an Airbnb. Just for the heck of it. You have to do your research. You have to see their pricing, because if you go get a 1-bedroom that's starting out at $1,800 a month, or even $1,700, you have to compare that and see, are you going to get your money back? Are you going to make a profit at the end of the month, or you're just going to cut even? Because you can start off. Sometimes it's not good to start off with luxury, because luxury is not going to get you a good profit if that area is doing not good as far as the business. So look at all those things. Look at how far of a distance from the DFW airport. Look at the theater center. Just look at everything when you going to look at the location. Very, very important.
Okay, I have a question. One of the questions that I have is, why do you think so many hosts are selling their units right now?
What do you mean selling?
That question was, why do you think so many hosts are selling a unit, or are they buying more, or are they taking a break? That's the question that was just asked.
The person that asked that question, what do you mean by selling? Like, do you mean that they're giving up their units, or are you saying like people that do Airbnb who actually own property? Because I don't own any property.
It says, are they buying more or taking a break? That's all that person is asking. So I guess, in other words, this person knows people that are selling there. Maybe they have a house or something, or maybe they owned it or whatever, and maybe they're selling it. It's just like, then I guess with me, if somebody would ask me that question, just like probably they own that house, or they bought that house and they leased it as an Airbnb, and they sold it probably to, make money or take the equity out and then do something else. Maybe that's what that person is saying. But do you know of anybody that's in the Airbnb that have bought houses and sold their houses, or are they buying more?
No, ma'am. This business is lucrative.
Okay.
If that person is selling or no longer doing Airbnb, you need to ask them, what area do you have your unit in? Because I used to teach classes, and I'm thinking about starting back, but right now I'm getting more units. I have to pretty much focus on that. But I reach out to me and say, well, what about like they'll say Waxahachie or Duncan.
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So like I said, it goes down to location. If the unit itself is in a bad location, then it's not much that you can make a profit of. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's not well decorated. People are looking for well decorated houses and units. So with my units are doing well. So my plan is to continue with the journey. So I always tell people as well, there's so many ways to make money besides being an Airbnb host. You can be a cleaner. You can go ahead and organize a cleaning company. You can actually manage Airbnbs. If you're a cleaner, you can actually tag on that journey of being a Airbnb co-host, which is the person that works hand in hand with the Airbnb actual host. So that you can help people decorate their units for them, because I'm tired of decorating myself. I'll hire you. There's so many different ways besides being a host. Being a host is the most risky way of doing Airbnb, because we are the ones that invest money into the business over and over and over. Something breaks, my cleaner doesn't pay for it. My co-host doesn't pay for it. I'm the one that's putting back into the business.
Okay, so, we got a big question here. It says the group on Facebook shows lots of people that are Airbnb and hosts saying who wants to take over, meaning they no longer want the unit to make money from it. So now the question that she asked, or that person asked earlier, she asked, why are they selling it? So I guess this person on Facebook, I guess they no longer want their Airbnb. They want somebody, to take it over. So probably so, I guess some people are just wanting to, maybe get out the business. It's just not as profitable for them if they want to, as they wanted it to be. I'm sorry. Or they didn't realize that it was going to be so much work. But I have a question for you.
Because it's a lot being a host. It's a
lot being a host. So the person, when you said that you only don't have to be a host for Airbnb, that you can manage it. What do you mean be a manager of the Airbnb? What do you mean by that?
So I'm actually working on this. So if y'all want to get Airbnbs, I can help you. I can manage it for you. But being a manager is pretty much overseeing all properties. So with me, I'm about to get my 6th unit. I'm actually looking to hire someone as an assistant to someone to manage my units for me. So I need to make sure that all my units are well stocked. I need to make sure we have toilet paper, paper towels twice a month. We need to make sure we're good on our cleaning supplies, on the linen, on the towels. Someone that can actually physically go to each unit and make sure if we need to put in some work orders, make sure the work orders are done, because my cleaning staff is just there to clean. They're not there to manage my units for me. Also, when it comes to managing, I will be able to have someone to communicate with my guest. I don't want to be, or I don't want to communicate. I don't want to pick up the phone. How you doing? I want to step back. I want to let other people do it now, so
you need a maintenance person and you need a transaction person to do that. So that person that does that, is that going to be so when something happens in that unit, is that the person that they call in the middle of the night, or do you have an answering service for that, or how will that work out?
Yeah, so that's called a co-host. So the co-host is the person that manages the entire unit. They manage the calls, the communication, they manage the cleaners, they manage the actual units as far as the restocking. They will do everything, but they will get a percentage per booking. Every booking I get, they will get maybe a 10% percentage, or maybe a 12%, depending on what we come up with, what number we decide to come up with. But as a host, I need that right now, because as a realtor, a host, and a stay-at-home mom, it's a lot to do. And sometimes I have to go out and clean my units, because my cleaner sometimes drop the ball, so it's always good to look at other things. Don't always look at what everybody else is doing. Think about ways how you can make money in a business and be different. Like there's ways to be different. And being a co-host, a lot of people need that. A lot of people need cleaners and co-hosts. That's a need in the Airbnb business.
So that's a different person than the manager, the co-host?
The co-host is the manager.
Okay, so when you say that they get so much percentage of the rent, are they not on an hourly salary or whatever? They just get so much of just say, for instance, if you do that, or somebody that's doing that, how does that structure as far as that person, since they're answering the phones at night, since they may have to get up at night, so that person will only get paid if they book something, or how is that operate? How does that work?
Yeah, so that person is paid through each booking. So an average bookings, I do only 2-night minimums, like at least 2 nights. So it can average about $300. And if we do like maybe a 10%, I don't know how much 10% of 300 is that, what, $30?
$30.
So they would get 30 just from that one booking for them staying for 2 nights. So most of the time, guests really don't have questions and blowing your phone up and my guests don't do that, because I stay on top of my units. I stay on top of check-in instructions. I stay on top of check-out instructions. And we always do a phone call in the middle of their stay. So It's not actually doing. Now, when it goes out into you doing the units as far as doing follow-ups and making sure each unit is stocked up, then that's going to be a flat rate each month. Because you have to go around and actually make sure everything is stocked up and make sure everything is, you have to go to the store yourself. You're going to be the one doing all of that back end work.
Okay, so the co-host, when you were saying that the person that's managing it, that they are going to take care of the phone calls and the maintenance. So, and that person is only going to make the $30 from the booking. What about when they go out to do all of that? What about doing all that? So how does that work as far as terms? I'm just speaking in overall. So how does that work as far as if someone is doing that, does that person get paid, or is it included in that $30?
So that's a flat rate. So my people will only go out twice a month. Okay. My co-host, which is my property manager, basically will only go out twice a month to restock up on units. And that's a flat rate that we're going to decide. Maybe we want to do 150 or maybe 200 or whatever we want to decide to do to go to each unit, depending on how many units that I have. If I have 10, you have to go to all 10 on one day. I think it's pretty reasonable. That's an all-day work job and duty, So
right. So they only go out. So you restock when someone moves out, you just still go, because I know I seen you sometime when we was on FaceTime, you cleaning and you restocking every time. So that person, the co-host, has to go out with you, or you just do it sometimes?
Right now I do it myself. I'm a one-man team right now, but I'm wanting to hire someone by the end of July, because I will have 8 by July. So at that point, I need someone to be on my team. Yeah. So if anybody interested, but at that time I will train you, but like my goal is to step back in order to continue to grow my business, because next year I plan on taking it to a different state. So I have to make sure that I have a team here in place before I can branch out.
So how do you approach the people in the apartments or the condos with what you want to do?
So what you say, corporate housing, corporate leasing. So I first always want to call beforehand, and you never want to say, I'm doing Airbnb right off the rip. It's going to be a no.
Okay.
You always let them know who you are and introduce your business and say, hi, I'm Jada with Elevate Realty Elite. I want to know if you guys allow corporate leasing. They will say yes or no. If they say yes, okay, great. May I get your name, or maybe your manager's name? I will always take down the manager and the person I just talked with. Because when I'm going to directly go into the leasing office, I'm going to dress up professional. I have my cute dress on, or business casual, but you always want to be professional. I also have a name tag with my name and my business name. So when I'm representing myself as a business owner, I'm not going in there in jeans and flip-flops and tights. I'm going in there as a business woman. And introduce myself like, hey, my name is Jade. I spoke with you earlier today or earlier last week, whenever. I'm here to speak to your manager in regards to corporate leasing. Once I go in there, I kai with them, have a good time, make them feel comfortable on what I'm doing, show them my portfolio, show them who I am as an individual, what I bring to their table. Because what you don't understand is, with me being a leasing agent, I know that I'm bringing value to this property. Because I might ask them, I'm going to shock them. So this is what I want y'all to do as well. Ask them, what's your occupancy level? They're going to be like, what? Ask them, what's your occupancy level? And if it's low, if it's below 95%, they need you more than you need them. Okay. Because numbers are extremely low and they need you. If it's in the 80s, they desperate. So that's how I sold them. Like, hey, I'm here to bring you value. I would like to lease multiple units at one time. Here's my program.
Saying that, do you lease? Do you do a group lease, or each unit is on a year lease, and then you are responsible for the money? So do you have to show a bank account, or what do you have to show that you can pay for that unit? Excuse me.
So actually, this last one, I leased I had a really big business meeting with like the owners of the whole entire, and I'm the very first corporate leasing company out the entire, like they ever had. So I actually had to produce bank statements. They actually did a lot of research on my business. That's why I said it's very important to have an established business, because if not, you're going to look crazy. I had to show them proof of my other units, how they're doing, my payments. They have to go and get references from the man I get the condo from in my other company that I'm utilizing, my second unit. And I sealed 8 units with, like I leased 8 units with them. Off rip, like 8 units. 8.
Oh wow. Yeah. Excuse me, y'all. So let me say something. So each unit has a separate bank account, or when they deposit the money, it shows which unit is that money credited to in your bank account, or how does that work?
No. So I have one bank account for my entire business. Okay. And what I do is, another hack is to get PayPal business accounts. So all of my Airbnb money goes into my PayPal business account, and then it's transferred into my business account. Okay. So I'm different forms of transactions, one from PayPal, one from my Bank of America. So I have 2 proofs. Okay. And once you do it that way, you can also apply for business capital with PayPal.
Oh, did y'all hear that? Business capital. So let me ask you something. Until you lease it out, you are responsible for the rent and all the utilities out of your pocket.
out of my business. When you set up utilities, everything's through my business. I have business Wi-Fi, I have business electricity. Everything is in my name, in my business name. Nothing is, I only had one unit, which is my first one. Everything else is in my business name.
So when you set up these accounts, like with the electrical company, how do they do that with multiple? How do you do that if you got 8 units, or you will have 8 units and you use the same utility company? How does the electric company, how do they set that up?
It's stressful. I have a new account with it. It's stressful. I'm
Okay,
like,
so it is okay.
Here's my number. Here's my phone number.
Yeah. And they know who you are. Yeah.
Every single time you set up it's a new account. It's the whole, everything is new. It's a brand new account. But
now everything that you buy is just like regular taxes. You get to write off your furniture. You get to write off what things can't you write off in this business that you're in, or you can just write off everything that you purchase towards the business.
I'm not for sure because everything is pertaining to my business. I will write off my Wi-Fi, my electricity, because you need that, right? To keep it up and running. Your furniture, because you're furnishing the unit. And that's pretty much all you need is your furniture, your gas to go out and decorate everything. So you can write everything off. But on a realtor standstill,
right,
there's a realtor aspect because I am trying to purchase my first investment property. So I am not going to write everything off because the lenders are looking at your net.
What your adjusted gross income is.
Exactly.
So that's another, They're going to look at what your adjusted gross income is for the last 2 years and or a year or however, that goes. So you're going to do that. So what about insurance? So it's renters. You got the same company that you're using for the renter's insurance. Do you have the insurance? The insurance covers who? It covers you with the damages to the apartment, or what type of insurance do you have?
So basically your renters, the apartment will always require for you to have renters insurance. Mm-hmm. So you can get that through Toggle, TOOGLE is the best, y'all. It's only like $7 a month for renters insurance. And that's with the liability of $100,000.
$100,000.
Yeah. Yes. And get like the basic bare minimum of everything. Cause again, Airbnb is covering any damages to the unit.
To the apartment. So you're just covering the items that are in there.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, because I'm gonna have to look at that, but because I use Lemonade for my grandson's apartment that's in Houston.
It's high now.
Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna go back and look at that. So yeah. So you're gonna have 8 units by the summer?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I would have more if I would never had a setback. And I want people to understand that it's not always what it seems. Like I've had a lot of times, like this month in particular was the hardest month for me as an entrepreneur. I've been 100% an entrepreneur since September. Since September, the end of September 2020. And this month was the hardest month for me. But you have to have a mindset as an entrepreneur that things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. Everything's not going to be peaches and cream. You're not going to always get a good profit this month. This is the lowest month I'm going to have a profit. This is the hardest right now. But you have to keep going. Keep going. Keep pushing. Don't keep, why me? Why this happened? It happened. It happened. Over it. Be sad about it. Pray to God about it, number one, and keep going because this is your purpose. This is what you are destined to do with any business, y'all. Not even just Airbnb, but if you're a box truck owner, if you're a truck driver,
and you used to be a box truck owner, you had trucks too.
Yeah, I sold my truck. You live and you learn. So you go through things, go through life, but you cannot get discouraged by the first mistake and the first loss that you take. You're going to take loss just like you do at work. When people, make a bad review about you, that's an L because to your employer, it's like, what are you doing? Why are you not doing your duty as an employer?
Yeah, that is true.
You're going to always take losses no matter what you do in life, but just keep going. Keep going. Don't ever get discouraged about things that you cannot control because it's going to happen.
So if someone wants to contact you about hiring, first of all, have you created the website yet? Or are you still working on that? Or
For hiring, no, I haven't. I don't really have to create a website for hiring because they will be linked to my actual Airbnb portfolio. So
Okay.
actually all access to my entire account. So you gotta be trustworthy, okay?
So if they need to reach you, what number do they need to call you at, and what are your business hours?
Y'all don't be calling me at 1:00 in the morning. No, I'm kidding. But my phone number is 972-697-3186. And you can reach me Monday through Thursday between the hours of 6
I'm
to
putting
4.
it in the is that the baby back there? She wants her mama now. You are really I just put her information in the comments.
And I also need cleaners, y'all. I need dedicated cleaners. I need people who are very detailed, very, very detailed oriented. And the thing is, like, I want people to grow with me. You know, like I have a huge goal and a huge dream with this business, not to get a couple here, a couple there. Like, I want hundreds of units because I'm gonna flip that money and get more investments. That's another thing I want to let y'all know too is whenever you do get an investment or do a side hustle, don't spend all your money that you make, all your earnings. You're supposed to reinvest that money. You're supposed to keep putting yourself out there. You're supposed to keep putting money back into your business. That's the only how that you're gonna grow.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so she put your information in there. It said for employment, contact Jada at 972-697-3186 Monday through Thursday. Need dedicated cleaners. So just call her. So what time can people start calling you? What are the hours that you would like to have people to contact you about anything?
6 to 4. And I also need a co-host/assistant. That person will work directly underneath me. Not only for Airbnb, like for real estate as well. Me being a real estate.
Okay. So you'll work out whatever details with them when they give you a call. So will they have to work on weekends?
If they're the co-host, yep, that's the busiest times is the weekends for sure. Because people are checking in on Friday or Saturday. They're here for the weekend getaway. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they will have to actually go give them the keys to the place or meet them to give them the keys.
No, I have never ever went to, out of the whole year and 3 months of me doing this, I have never went to a unit while people are there to give them access. It's always keypad access. The only thing that you have to be concerned of is check-in is always at 3:00. So you will have people message you or call you and they might get lost or whatever the case is. That's when you will have concerns or anything like the AC might be out of the heater. Small things like that, but you're not having to talk to people 24/7. Like the average guest, you probably talk to them maybe twice out of their entire stay because people don't want to be talking to you. They try to enjoy their vacation, you know.
Now, when the air and the heat go out, that's the building's responsibility, right? So they'll have a contact number for that, or they'll still contact you.
No, they'll still contact me, and then we'll come to the office. But we always have heaters and fans, whatever season that it is. Now we're transitioning to the summertime, so we're having a backup plan of having fans there. So we're not having to hurry up and hustle and go. It's in the closet for you. It's in the closet. We have a fan
until everything gets fixed. Okay. So when they go on the Airbnb site, if someone that's listening that want to book one of your Airbnbs, where do they go to find you?
So you can't find anyone by just typing in on Airbnb. You have to actually send them a link. So I'll send you a direct link to my portfolio and you can look at my units. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. This is Jada Elias. She is a very successful young lady. When I met her, she was carrying a little one. And the next time I talked to her, she was at the brokerage. So Jada, I thank you so much because Jada actually created her own LLC before she even became a realtor. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm pretty sure they will want you back to talk about anything. So right now you won't be giving classes, right?
Not right now. I want to focus on getting my units up and ready because all my units are back to back this next couple of months. So I need to make sure that I'm good on that half before I can start teaching others.
Okay. Thank you all so much for coming. My name is Labrita Dews. I am the podcast person for Buying and Selling with Bri. Jada, thank you so much. And I will be speaking with you, after the podcast is over. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at 817-975-9284 or my business number, 817-935-0062. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. If you want to reach Jada, you can reach her at 972-697-3186. She is looking to hire. Thank you, everyone, so much, and I appreciate you. And thank you, Jada, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone, for listening in. See you all in a couple of weeks.
It's the things that you do, and it's a smile on your face.